You are tuned into a special player spotlight interview on the CS Podcast.
Welcome back to another edition of the CS Podcast presented by the NFL Draft Bible. Visit NFLDraftBible.com. I'm your guys' host, Chris Shanafelt, and joining the show now for a player spotlight interview is probably the number one wide receiver in all of Division II football out of East Stroudsburg University. He's John Schnaars, and I appreciate you taking some time to chat. Now, last night, I know that you guys had your final team dinner of the season, and tomorrow afternoon you guys will be playing in your final game of the regular season, which will also be your final game of your collegiate career. I mean, can you believe that your college football career is already coming to an end and that soon you'll be getting ready to play in the pros?
No, I mean, it's gone so fast. I mean, yesterday we get a chance to talk to all the coaches, all the young kids, and I remember being there my freshman year and seniors saying the same thing to me. Don't take anything for granted. It goes fast, and it's like a blink of an eye, I'm already here.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny how things work out. You know, I obviously am on the media side of things, and I didn't play sports in college, but looking back to my high school days, I mean, it's amazing how fast things go. It's funny. I'm, just a half hour ago, I just got back from wrestling practice. I wrestled in high school, and now I'm seeing faces that I've never seen before, and I'm kind of looking at things from a coach's point of view when I'm thinking, man, just a few years ago, I was here in the wrestling room doing work like all the other wrestlers. But like you said, I mean, it's funny how it's amazing how quickly things go. And here you are, you're coming to an end of your collegiate football career. Tomorrow is your final college football game, and let's talk a little bit about this senior season of yours, John. I mean, you guys are 5-5 on the season heading into this weekend's game against Gannon, and so far throughout 10 games, I mean, you've put up some very impressive numbers. I mean, you got 98 receptions for just under 1,400 yards and 18 touchdowns. It's easy to say that you now hold a number of both school and conference records. Individually, what were your expectations heading into this season? And did you ever imagine that you'd be putting up the type of numbers that you currently have so far this season?
I mean, starting the off season, we just worked really hard. And individually, I wanted to make a goal that, would turn some heads. And the goals I made for myself that literally everyone on my team looked at me like I was crazy. I wanted to get 100 catches, 1,500 yards, and 20 touchdowns. And, just sitting here right now before this game and seeing that it's in my grasp that I can reach all those goals, I'm not going to lie, I even didn't expect myself to do this. But, you really put your mind to it. You work your butt off all off season, all spring ball, all summer. And, once you get on the field, you just got to control what you can control, and that's what I try to do every day.
And, exactly what were you doing in the off season? Were you doing anything different heading into this senior season of yours that you might have just not ever done heading into your let's say, sophomore or junior year? Let's face it. You've been a pretty solid wide receiver in the PSAC for quite a few years now. But to put up the type of numbers that you've had, that you've been putting up, and to have the type of games that you had, like the one against Shippensburg, which I definitely want to get your thoughts on in a moment. It's really taking it to another level. So, was there anything? Were you doing anything different this offseason that maybe you haven't done in the past?
Well, I usually went home over the summer just like to see my friends and more of my family, but this summer I wanted to make sure I was up here, like my quarterback was staying up here. We threw pretty much every day, and, that's why we have the chemistry we have today. And, it was rough not seeing everybody, but going into my last season, it was do or die. It was make it or break it. So I stayed up here. I got a job. I worked 40 hours a week. I also I always, kind of watch what I eat. You always want McDonald's every now and then. But this summer I really watched what I ate, try to cut down some weight, get more lean, especially get faster. I was working a lot of resistance stuff. So I attribute that pretty much to all of it because I never watched what I ate every meal. And that's what I did this summer. I cut out all fast food. I tried to cook for myself every night. And, I didn't know how to cook at first. So it was a little hard to start start with, but I mean, you learn what you like, and turned out to be a good summer.
Hey man, worst comes to worst, I have confidence that you can at least cook some ramen noodles, right?
Yeah, I mean that's the broke college kid meal, but I actually cook some pretty good chicken now.
Hey, there you go. You cannot go wrong with that. Now, I do want to take you back to that Week 5 game against Shippensburg from earlier this season, John. I mean, it was definitely one to remember as the game went into 5 overtimes until, unfortunately, you guys lost with a final score of 69-67. But what you were able to do was very special. I mean, you hauled in 20 receptions for over 200 yards and 7 touchdowns. Your quarterback that you mentioned that you guys were working all summer long, quarterback Matt Soltesz, he also threw for 600 yards and 9 total touchdowns in that game. I think to call that game an offensive showdown would probably be an understatement. But what was it like to be a part of a conference game that went down the way it did?
I mean, I always loved playing Shippensburg because I live in Harrisburg. So, I mean,
Okay.
you always hear about Shippensburg. It's not far. A lot of people I know go there. So the last couple of years playing there was always special. But for them to come into our house, and we always knew it was going to be a great showdown. We always had great, potent offenses. And, I mean, it was just crazy what was going on. It didn't really hit me during the game. I was just trying to get that win. Unfortunately, we didn't. That's the part that's going to stick out the most, that we didn't get the win. I mean, the stats are great, but as a player, you always want to come out on top. But to sit back and see what we did, I mean, it was like we were playing NCAA football on an Xbox or something. Those are the type of scores you see on that. And to sit back and, I mean, get all the backlash off of that game, I mean, it was just crazy.
Now, talk about the chemistry between yourself and your quarterback, Matt Soltesz. I mean, you can't haul in 20 receptions and 7 touchdowns without great chemistry. You mentioned it a minute ago. You guys were working a ton over the summer. I think it's safe to say that you guys that you are his most reliable target. Throughout the last 4 or 5 years. What would you say it is, though, about you two that makes you guys probably the most lethal quarterback to wide receiver duo in the nation?
It's got to come down to that we're best friends. I mean, we came in together, scared freshmen. I mean, we redshirted together, so we were always throwing to each other. Came in hearing about, like, Jimmy Twilliger, Evan Fall, all those guys that set all the records here. And, we never really thought we'd be in the same league as those guys, but we always trained hard to be like them. And, every day we go out, it doesn't matter if it's snowing outside. Matt's always ready to throw. And even when we're not playing football, we're at each other's houses hanging out, going to eat together, just sitting at the calf, like just talking to each other. We're basically the same person. That's why we get along so well. And, he's probably the greatest quarterback I've ever seen, so he makes my job easy. I just got to get open, and I know he'll put the ball right where it needs to be.
And, of course, he's certainly in the conversation, like you are as the top wide receiver in D2. Soltesz is certainly in the conversation and definitely one of the top quarterbacks, if not the top quarterback in all of Division II football. And, John, now a lot of people would look at the numbers that you've put up, not only this season but really throughout your college football career, and they would be amazed. But to do it in arguably the top conference in all of D2 in the PSAC, that's what really impresses me. I mean, what's it like to play teams such as Westchester, Shippensburg, Bloomsburg, other teams within the PSAC year in and year out? I mean, do you like the competition that the conference brings?
Oh, I love it. Some of the kids I play with, I even played in high school. And, it's great knowing different people. Playing the past couple of years, pretty much everyone on the other team. You used to talk smack to each other all the time when we were younger. Now it's more of a brother thing out there. But when you come in here, you just hear about all the stories between ESU Millersville, ESU Bloom, ESU Westchester, Kutztown. They all got great teams, great coaches, and it's fun to play at all those places too. The mystique that's there, the fan bases. It's definitely a hostile crowd, but I feel like I play better in those type of games than if it were quiet, because that's just the type of guy I am. I like the fire of everything. And, week in, week out, it doesn't matter who you're playing, what time, what field. You're going to get the best of everybody.
Now, throughout your college career, is there any defensive backs that stick out more than any other that you've played against? I mean, who would you say is the toughest player that you've had to play against over the last 4 years?
Alhaj Shabazz from Westchester last year. I'm pretty sure he made practice squad or two this year. He was a senior. We heard all about him, and we were playing him at our house. And, I wanted to go against him. I wasn't afraid of anything. I'm like, okay, if he's the best guy in this conference, or in all of Division II, they were saying, I wanted to go against him. And, the stuff he said to me after the game was pretty special. He told me I was a great player. He didn't know I had another year coming. He thought I was a senior too. So it was just great to go against him. I learned a lot of things from watching that film because I've never had a corner be so physical. I mean, he's the same size as me. Usually I'm bigger than the corner I'm going against, but I like the physicality of the game, and I bought into it. I've watched that film probably more than any other game in my career, and I just learned everything. Every little thing I did wrong that I saw he was doing, I just tried to work towards this year, and I could stop.
And that definitely that says something because, you look at any of your film and you could see that, like you said, normally you're the bigger guy when it comes to you or the defensive back, and certainly your physicality certainly stands out. So when you're kind of giving Haj Shabazz some props on his physicality, like I said, that says something right there. And to see a guy like that, I believe he had a stint with the Arizona Cardinals. I'm not exactly sure if he's still with them or not, but I know the Arizona Cardinals also had a top PSAC wide receiver in Trevor Harmon from Shippensburg. To see guys within the conference go on and get a shot in the National Football League, what does that do to your confidence?
I remember playing Trevor Harmon when he was at Cumberland Valley. I played against him at Central Dawson, and I knew he was a great player there. Saw all the records he was putting up here. I talk to him every time, like when we see each other back at home, and it's just great. You never think, everyone wants to play in the NFL and the pros somewhere, but it's never really a reality, I thought, until like this year when people started talking to me, and then you see all the write-ups and everything. But yeah, definitely seeing PSAC players make it and go far. And you always hear about Shippensburg with Brent Grimes, John Kuhn, even the guys from ESU, Jimmy Twilliger, Evan Prawl got shots. So it's pretty special coming here and knowing about that and just knowing there's a chance. And it just makes you want to grind as hard as you can.
Absolutely. The PSAC is certainly well represented in the National Football League, and I think they're going to get quite a few more guys in this senior class as well. Again, we got John Schnaars, the top Division II wide receiver in the nation, by way of East Stroudsburg University here on the CS Podcast, presented by the NFL Draft Bible. Bringing you the names that you need to know first since 2002, and if you are not familiar with this standout wide receiver, you certainly got to step your game up. Now, John, when I say the top wide receiver in Division II, what does that mean to you, if anything?
It's great. I try to go out every game and every practice, anytime I'm out there, I want to be the best player on the field. That's what my dad always taught me when I was young. You got to go out there and want to be the best, because if you're not the best, then why are you out there? And, everyone has their own opinion. I know I can still work on my game, work on my craft. Not by any means am I done, but it's great to hear from other people that believe in me. See the stats and say that about me, but content with just some people saying I'm trying to work every day so that there isn't a person in the room or anywhere that thinks anything different.
And just a moment ago, we were talking about some of the guys that came from the PSAC that ultimately got a shot in the NFL. Have you ever given the NFL any thought? I know you still got one more game remaining in your East Stroudsburg playing career, but the possibility of playing in the National Football League, playing at the next level, is that something that you've ever thought about?
I've always thought about it being a little kid. I used to play in the front yard pretending I was on my favorite teams. But, this year if there's a shot, I want to keep playing. I want to hold on to football as long as I can. I know it's really unrealistic for a lot of people, for most people. But I'm just trying to work to get a chance to play anywhere. Even if it's not the NFL, I just want to hold on to the thing I love most, which has been football the last I don't know how many years. I've been playing since second grade. I never want to let it go. And to know that my college career is coming to an end after tomorrow, I'm just working to see if someone will give me a shot, and I'll make the most of it.
And to hear you say that's pretty impressive, because a lot of guys they're saying, you know, they want to play in the NFL or nothing. I mean, and we hear every year really about guys from the AFL, from the CFL that you know, they work their way up and they get a shot in the NFL. I mean, you look at the one of the defensive backs for the Saints, Delvin Breaux, he came from the AFL, and then of course when I think of guys from the CFL to make it in the NFL. I always look at defensive end Cam Wake for the Miami Dolphins. I mean, it really doesn't matter where you start, but where you finish. And, John, just a few more questions, and then I'll let you go. I really do appreciate your time. For those who may not be too familiar with your game, I mean, what would you say is your biggest strength as a wide receiver? And if you can compare yourself to a receiver currently playing in the National Football League, I mean, who would that be?
I obviously not the size, I guess, but I compare my game to Steve Smith just because the physicality he plays with, his catch radius, and his body control. I mean, I've been working on trying to get 2 feet in since I started playing football, because my dad always said if you can get 2 feet in, you can definitely get 1, and that's all we need. So I like doing that. The whole physicality part, I mean, I'm a big receiver, and until this year, speed really wasn't the high point with me, but I worked all off season to get that, so that just added to my game. But I just like being more physical than the other guy. I play offense with a defensive mentality. That's what our offensive coordinator said to me the first day he was here. That's what he likes. And I feel like the more physical I play, the more into the game I get. And if I'm knocking the defender down every play that I'm not getting the ball, he's going to be thinking about that when I am getting the ball, and that gives the advantage to me.
And again, tomorrow is your guys' final game of the season, your final game of your collegiate career. As you're walking off of the field tomorrow, win or lose, I mean, any idea what might be going through your mind?
I haven't put much thought into that. I really, really try not to. Just trying to stay focused on the game, but I know it's going to be an emotional time for sure. Just knowing it's the last time I get to play with my brothers I've been with for the last 4+ years. So we're just trying to go out, finish things how you're supposed to with a win on our home field, and then whatever happens, happens.
All right, John, I'll leave you out on this final question. If you had to single out one play that you've made throughout your college career to show a general manager, to show an NFL head coach, to show a scout, which play are you singling out of your highlight film? I mean, any idea? I know there's a lot of them. Heck, there might be a play tomorrow that you'll be showing off. I wouldn't put it past you, that's for sure. But is there any play when you think of your college career as a whole that sticks out more than any other?
That's a tough question, but if there were 2 I think I would think about. They both came against Stroudsburg. One was 2 years ago. We were playing them on our home field. They were heavily favored, and it was in the fourth quarter. We were down 7, and Schultz threw a deep pass that I was getting held, slapped down, and my left arm went down when he hit it, the defender, so I just dove with one hand in the end zone, and it's probably the craziest catch I've ever made of my life. I mean, they took a picture of it, and I literally have the tip of the ball on my fingertips with one hand, and that tied the game. And I mean, I didn't think I was going to. I just dove and put a hand out, hoping I would at least get it to tip it to myself. But if it's not that one, this year when we played Bloomsburg, we scored, and we could have kicked the extra point to go into overtime, but my coach trusted me and Matt on a play to win the game on a 2-point conversion. And at first, the route, I ran it, I was open, but Matt got flushed because they brought blitz, and he had to roll out. And, I mean, he just kept the play alive, knew if he threw it to the corner of the end zone, I was going to make a play. And I went up, got the ball over everybody, and just got tackled by my team. That's the memory I'm going to remember for the rest of my life, just being on the bottom of a pile with all my teammates basically beating the crap out of me because we had just won the game.
Hey, there you go. That definitely sounds awesome. It also sounds like you have something against Bloomsburg, I got to say. But, John, like I said, that was my final question for you. I really appreciate you taking some time today, and I'm definitely wishing you and your squad all the best this weekend, and leave it all on the field, man.
Thank you for your time. I appreciate it, and thank you for the good luck tomorrow. We'll do the best we can.
All right. Sounds great. Thanks, John. Take care, all right?
Yep, thank you.
Okay, let's do this. Jog 3 miles before breakfast. Make it to work by 9. Run out for a salad at lunch. Oh, time to own that meeting at 3. Yes, 10,000 steps. What's next?
Fearless is not hitting snooze. That's the power of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Federal Employee Program. With more healthy benefits and tools, no one does more to help you live fearless. Sign up at fepblue.org/action by December 14th.